Don't park an aircraft on a movement area without lights. All right. At night, it's very, very hard to see where things are at. All right. Even if you have the beautiful sunshine and all that stuff, right? Uh, it's still very hard to see. So what they mean by without an illumination, they mean that you turn on basically your navigation lights, all right? Because then you'll have lights at each tip of the airplane kind of thing, all right? Don't destroy or remove airport markings, light signs without the approval of the operator. If you guys have a firearm, don't use it, all right? Don't kill people at the airports or animals or anything like that, all right? You will see from time to time a coyote on the field over here, all right? Don't get close to it. I mean, if they are on the runway, you can always go around to the other runway. So there's many things that you, holy.
Might take the kill you today.
Ask dispatch if they can give it to you, then take it. That's fine. It has about 9 hours left. Okay. Like, I don't mind. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. All right. So don't bring an animal or bird into the airdrome without an approval. All right. So sometimes you'll see here the residents of the other hangars coming with their dogs or stuff like that. Technically, you need to have an approval each and every time, all right? But I don't think the airport care much, as long as it's either on a leash or a very, very good dog. One time I was starting an airplane over here, and I told the guy, hey, listen, I'm about to start. Your dog is not leashed. It may go to the propeller, kill himself, or something like that. He's like, oh, no, he's all good with airplanes. Don't worry about it. Okay. And so I started the airplane, and the dog was just sitting there, not giving a crap. Good dog, kind of thing. All right. So yeah. Okay. And any question with that? Zach, make sense? All right. Don't kill people. All right. So continuing on, explanation of fire prevention. Do not start a fire without the permission of the operator, all right? No fire, no smoking, no nothing, all right? Unless it has a special designated spot. I know, if I remember correctly, even in YVR, in big airports, they will either have a designated spot, which is actually outside, but still within the airport premise kind of thing, right? You wouldn't be able to go inside for security with a lighter. That's not ever gonna happen, all right? So there are designated spots, again, most likely outside of the airport, all right? Now, here is something, all right, and that is weird, I'll tell you, okay? Each country is operating based on their own standards, all right? Now, not to say anything bad, but each country have a different standard as to when you're coming to security, what could you do, what will you do, right? In Israel, for example, is where I'm from, all right? You would go through a clear box, and you just stand there, and it's kind of weird. They kind of blow a bunch of air at you. But if you have an explosive device on you, then you're pretty much done, right? And then you'll explode in that box. Good to go, all right? But in Mexico, for example, correct me if I'm wrong, in Mexico or the lower parts of the world, right? You don't even require to take off your shoes for a scan, right? So sometimes it won't even be necessary for you to go through security, depending where you're coming from. Okay?
You have to go through. In Mexico, you have to go.
Okay, do they take your shoes off?
No, you don't have to take your shoes off here, like the US.
Exactly, right? So technically, what would stop you from hiding something in your shoe?
We have better scanners here.
Yes.
That's why.
But when you land, you're already in the secure area.
Yeah.
If you have a connecting flight, you're not going to go through another checkpoint.
Yeah.
Right? So then technically you could go to any airport in the world and do something, technically. Make sense? So good and bad things about security, right? If it was all over the world, like the same standard and such, that would be great. But there's still some things that could be improved upon with the hazard of fire and all of that stuff. All right. So this is the number for the regulation. You do not need to remember that. All right. And all right, I'll skip that a little bit. Personal licensing, right? So please do write those things down over here. All right. Personal licensing and training. So we do have what we call a high performance airplane. All right. An airplane that has minimal flight crew. Document is requires only one, so minimum flight crew of one. Okay. I don't think an aircraft will have 0 anytime soon. Maximum never exceed speed of 250 knots or greater, or a stall speed of 80 knots or greater. Now, here the quick reminder, VSO, is that with flaps or without flaps? VSO, right? What does the O mean?
Without flaps. Right?
No.
Oh, no, I think no with.
With flaps.
Yeah.
Okay. So just keep that in mind. All right. So if you have landing gear that you can bring up and down, that technically would be down and all of that stuff. All right. Now again, you do have a speed of 250 and 80 knots, IAS, indicated airspeed. All right. So that's what you see inside of the indicator, just what it tells you. Indicated airspeed. On the exam, they perhaps will try to mess with you and say 250 true airspeed. But no, the answer would be indicated.
So is the KIAS, is that the same thing as just your airspeed indicator?
Yes.
It's the same thing.
Indicator. K means knots. Okay? Man, it's a little warm here.
Wait, K means knots.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, K means knots. Okay. I'll give it a second here for people.
When it says 80 knots or greater, does that mean like 80 or like 70 and 60? Or like, what do you mean? I'm like actually greater.
Greater.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, whatever is a higher number. Right? 70 wouldn't be greater, right?
Well, no, I thought it'd be like, oh, you have like a greater speed that you can, not stall at.
Okay. Sorry, I'm just taking the attendance. I take a picture of everyone online here. You had a question?
No.
Okay, cool. All right, do not need to write that down, all right? Operational controls mean the exercise of authority over the intuition, continuation, diversion, termination of the flight, direction. Who has control of that? All right, and no need to write that down, that's okay. I'll just give you guys a quick heads up. When it comes to big airlines, such as WestJet, for example, the dispatcher have co-authority over the flights. up until the takeoff. The minute the airplane takes off,